Okay, everyone, we are here tonight to talk about follow ups and how important they are and how much most of us don't like doing it. So, we all are business owners, we all have to be on top of the things, and we can't just wait for people to come to us. We have to be the ones that come to them. Um, so, there's a statistic that says 80% of people say yes after 5 to 12 follow ups, which is just like mind blowing if you think about it. So if you're only following up like once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, then you're probably missing out on the sale. So it's important to be consistent and keep following up until they pretty much either block you or say, leave me alone, never talk to me again. Even then, I'd probably still follow up. um, so I think like one of the main reasons why, I personally, I don't like following up because we feel like we're bugging them. We feel like we're annoying. We don't want them to say no. We feel like it's a waste of time when we send out all these messages and then nobody says yes. I was talking to Shannon. She said she sent out like 84 messages the other day for follow-ups and only like 3 people replied. But she's like, does that mean I'm not going to do it again? No, I'm going to keep going. Which is just like mind blowing if you think about it. Like, even if they're not saying yes, or even if they're leaving you on red, whatever, it's still going to be placed in front of them, like in front of them. And then they're going to go on about their day and they're going to think about it. So I don't know. This has happened to me, and it's probably happened to you too, where you follow up with somebody, they say, no, thank you. Like it's not the right time. And then maybe like later that night or like the next day, they're like, okay, like how much is it again? Like, I think I want to try. So it's happened to all of us. Like, well, if you've been in the business for a while. So just know that like there is an effect that happens when you follow up. It's not just like, oh, they didn't reply. They said no. So it's obviously not going to happen. I'm never going to reply, like follow up with them again. Keep going, keep following up. Sometimes it's just not the right time. I think Shannon also told me that like it's like every like what is it, like 6 to 9 months, like people's lives change. And then it's just like it could all of a sudden be the right time. They could all of a sudden be ready to like work on their goals. They could all of a sudden like, come across like money that's just like they can spend. You just never know. And we can't assume. I think that's what we do with a lot of people is that we just assume that they can't afford it. We assume that like maybe they think it's a scam or whatever. But just know that we can't read people's thoughts and just do it. Just like if you have to close your eyes and click send, do it.
Yeah.
I did that for a long time when I first started. I was so scared to message people, but now I'm just like, whatever. I think that's all I want to talk about mindset. Can't
Mhm.
remember if we said anything else.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. I think the only other thing that I like to think about is that you can't make the decision for them. And
Yeah.
if you stop following up, that's basically deciding for them that they don't want it anymore. If they, like Crystal said, if they haven't told you no and they haven't blocked you, then they haven't decided, period.
Yeah.
They
So like
undecided.
your book could literally go back like freaking like 8 months, and you're just getting more and more and more and more potentials. That just means you have more and more people to follow up with. Like obviously you don't want to follow up with these people every single day. Like you want to like give it time because you don't want them to block you. So I guess that kind of goes into like how we follow up. Everybody has like their own system that works for them. And if you don't, I suggest like find one. um, it's important to follow up. So I'll share just like what I do. Took me a while to like kind of get in the groove and kind of just like learn from like other leaders and like what works for them. It's always good, success leaves clues. So if people are being successful and like having constant enrollments, then you just got to be like, what are you doing? Because I need to do that. I need to do exactly what you're doing because obviously it's working. It's not always the best to like go and like create your own little way because it's new, nobody's done it, and we don't know if it works or not, and you could just be wasting your time. um, so for me personally, like if I talk to somebody today, they commented on a HAP, and they're interested in like the skinny gummies and the thermal fight, I message them. I give them the info, and then they leave me on red. I won't message them again the same day. I remember when I first started, I would message Shannon, actually. I'd be like, they haven't replied to me in like 2 hours. Like, what should I do? And sometimes I'd message them again like that night. And so I still get tempted to do it too, but usually I wait till the next day. So I'll send them a message the next day. And this is very important. I think it's very key to do this because it's always fresh in their mind. They're not like distracted by like a million other things in their life. And you just message them saying, hey, like, hope you're having a great day. I'm just checking in to see if that info looked good or if you had any questions. So it's always like ending it off with a question to keep the conversation going. I think it's important to, like, in this business, like, we're salespeople and we have to have control of the conversation. It's up to us to keep the conversation going. It's not up to the customer because they have no idea what's going on. We have to guide them. So if they're telling us about like their goals and stuff, like, you know, like, acknowledge it, continue the conversation, like, that is for a whole nother Zoom. So that is like the one way I follow up. So I ask them if they have any questions. Then usually they're, you know, people are like, oh yeah, sorry, I was so busy. Like, how much is it? Right. And then it just gets the conversation going again. Sometimes they don't reply at all, and that's okay. That does not mean that you take them off your follow-up list. That just means you follow up again on Friday. Or if that is Friday, then it's like the next Friday, or when a BOGO comes out, or like when the Enroll-a-thon comes. We have so many Enroll-a-thons now. It's like every month. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is it going to be this time? Facial wraps is like cool. I never use them, but I will always have Shannon's face like
a video.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to go watch my very like second live video in the business, if you want to scroll back on my page to like February of 2020, you can watch an amazing face mask video of
when she first started
business Shannon.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. She was so serious. She had no idea what was going on.
None.
Like, why is there so much cream? I'm just gonna keep rubbing. So I forget like where I was exactly. Oh yeah. So after the day one, for me personally, if the conversation falls off again, like if we continue the conversation and I give them the pricing and they ask a question or whatever, and they don't reply, like after I answer, I will follow up again the next day. So as soon as they reply to me once, I'm like, okay, now I follow up again the next day. So it's like every time once they reply, they're immediately like the next day follow up. If they don't reply, then it's like Friday follow up. And then you just do it like every Friday. And then I think like after like 4 follow-ups, I'll maybe like wait a week or something. It really depends on the person and how interested they were. So I think it's like, you know, just like important to look. And then obviously if there's promos or if it's like month end, just follow up with everybody. Yeah. Should I share like my book and like how I keep track too? Okay. And then you'll just do your whole thing after. Okay. So I have this amazing book that I won in a prize. My son like sat on it, so it doesn't close very well anymore. Yeah. So it's just this book, and I have my son's little drawing that he did for me too. I don't even know what it is, but so I keep names on like every day. So I have one side for PMs and one side for distributors, and I just keep track. So every day I know like who I talked to the day before, and then sometimes if the person was super interested, I'll write their name down again, but I haven't been too consistent with that because it just gives me false hope. I'm like, yeah, I got so many potentials today. Then I'm like, oh no, those people are from like the day before. And then if I'm talking to somebody and they give me a date, it's very, very important. If they're like, I want to order on this day, and you don't follow up with them on that day, that is on you. And that sucks because they're like ready to order. So you want to make sure that I write it on my book. I write like a little dash with the date on it. And then I put an alarm in my phone so that I'll be like doing my thing, like whatever. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, ding, message this person for this product. And I'm like, oh yeah, right. So that is always important. And yeah, that is pretty much just like my system of follow-ups. Like I just make sure you write them down. Okay, one more thing. I forgot. So a person becomes a potential as soon as they say yes to wanting more info. If you message them and you just say, hey, name, thanks for the comment on whatever post about whatever. Do you want info? That's not a potential. Like they haven't seen it yet. They might see it, they might not see it. But if they don't reply, then that's not a potential. It's just like wasting your time. Like you're not going to message them again. You're not going to bug them. So as soon as they say yes, that's a potential. And then as soon as they block you or tell you to go suck a D, then they're not a potential anymore. But maybe, you know, when it's month end and you're pushing for a goal, like what do you got to lose? Message them again. You never know. Maybe they're having a bad day. You truly never know. I think it was like when I went Emerald, I remember it was like such a rush. It was like the month end and I was like going through my messenger and I was just typing in like a product and then finding somebody that I haven't talked to in like months. I wasn't even Facebook friends with them and they bought that night. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I guess it does work. But just know that like following up, it takes effort. It takes a lot of messaging. But at the same time, it's not like we're picking up the phone and calling all these people. So messaging is a lot easier. You're just like, copy, paste. And in boards, we have like a whole section of different follow-up messages that we can use in the Diamond Dreamers board and in the Go Getter board. I'm going to be editing the Diamond Dreamer follow-up section to make it more user-friendly. So that's going to be really good because there's different messages for like every type of situation. But at the same time, you can really edit any message in there to fit. You just got to have like the middle part and then you just edit the beginning and end and you're set. Okay, so that is all I got. I'll pass it to you, Shannon.
Awesome. Thank you, Crystal. So the first thing that I want to say to you guys is that it's okay if your current follow-up system is not working. This is what they call failing forwards. And I cannot tell you how many follow-up systems I have used over the 3.5 years of doing this. I'm pretty sure when I first started out, it was literally a list in my phone, like just a continuous list of names. Couldn't even tell you when I talked to them the first time, couldn't tell you when I talked to them the last time, like not a good system. Don't do that. If you need to write their name down there just so that you know to like transfer them over to somewhere else, that's okay. But I definitely would not suggest that being your system. It's super important to know what date you talk to people. So even if you just have a lined piece of paper, write the date at the top or like a lined notebook and write your people. Change the date, write your people. Because our follow-up systems are so based on like, oh, next day, oh, maybe a few days later, oh, the Friday, blah, blah, blah. It's really, really important to know when you first talk to someone and when you talk to them again. So like when I'm sending out my follow-ups on Fridays, if someone answers me, they're going back in my notebook from that Friday because my process is starting over. They get back to, oh, I'm messaging the next day again because they answered. They get bumped back to the top of the list. So I'm going to show you guys really quickly my book and then I will share my screen and we'll go through and do some follow-ups because I am currently behind. So this will be very good, I think. Maybe we'll start with this day, but you can kind of see. So I do something similar. Crystal is very smart though and writes like distributors on one side and customers on the other. Mine are just like mixed up. So I have to go through and like, look, maybe I'll start doing that. See, constantly learning. I'm going to write distributors on one side and customers on the other. But when someone says that they're going to order, I put like an open star, like I just make the star. And when someone has ordered or signed up, I color it in. So I know that they're done. Good to go. And then probably in the last couple of days, Like there are some star people here that I really should have followed up with already, but it has been a busy week and this happens, then that's okay. So we're going to do it together. But yes, I also usually know when I've had a busy half day, right? Like when my pages look like this, I probably had quite a few halves up. But there are other days that are like smaller. I was probably going through old hacks or whatever. Look, this day has like one name on it. That might have been the day that I sent all those follow-ups. Maybe it wasn't. But like sometimes you get busy, right? When you send 84 follow-up messages in a day, that's like pretty busy. You don't necessarily have a lot of time to message for other things. So it's priorities. And definitely following up is one of them. So the other thing that I do similar to Crystal is I have my calendar in my phone, and on the day I write down everyone that has told me that date, and I do it right when they tell me. Do not think to yourself, oh, I'll write that down later. You are never going to remember. Someone tells me a date, you got to go write that down right away. Because like, look at how many people have said like this coming Friday. Like, can you imagine if I like thought to myself, I need to remember to write that down? Like, no, I would never. The same with if someone tells me like, oh, message me, and actually there's someone here that says October. I feel like an October question mark. Can you see that? Where's that? Right here, October question mark. Okay, so when I'm going back through and I'm doing my monthly follow-ups, right? There's going to be a day in October where I go through and say, okay, I'm doing August. I'm going to see that that person specifically said October, and they're like 100% getting message, right? Okay, I think that's it. Next is just that I go through boards and just will pick a random message, and that's the message that everyone is going to get, unless I'm getting close to like a messaging threshold sort of thing. Like if I'm getting close to that 50, then I'm probably going to switch it up. And then obviously distributors are getting a different follow-up than customers. Now, I'm wondering what the best way is going to be to do this, because it's going to be really difficult to type on my screen, but that's okay. I might have to turn my tablet. So, look, our conversation with Crystal. So the very first thing I'm going to do is go over and type out Rhonda Cressman Beckner. I actually think I messaged her again today. So she was on my list from Monday, but she's on my list again from today. Because you can see our conversation happened really early Monday, Tuesday, but then she messaged me again today. So then I finally got back to her. So she went back on my list because that is 2 days later. Usually if it's the next day, I won't write them down again. But if it's 2 days later, they are getting on my list again. Okay, the next person on my list, Jackie Donnelly. Okay, so this one, I only sent her some information about the cleanse and aloe. So you'll find the message in boards, but it is literally just, so I have, I'm gonna use text replacement, I guess. But I have like busy yesterday. So it's like, hey, Jackie, sorry I was busy yesterday. Thanks for your patience. Do you have any questions, or was that info looking good? Anyone that I have not sent the price to, that is always like my first follow-up message. Okay, Amanda Dilshino. See, so because I have all these people written down, we know what to do. See, these are all my Mondays. Okay, so again, this one I actually did give the price, and then she stopped replying. So we will send her, when we had our Zoom with Jesslyn, she told us about this message that she sends. And it's actually been working really well for me. Let's see if I can copy and paste back and forth. Yes, I can. Okay, so it's literally just like, I was placing someone's order. Remember our combo. Are you ready to get yours in as well? Or should I save your spot for Friday? So we're kind of giving people that option. I do have a lot of people reply and say, save my spot for Friday, because it kind of gives them a date. And a lot of people get paid on Fridays. Who's next? I will pick another random one on here so you guys can kind of see. Teresa Loyal. Okay, see, so just info. So busy yesterday. If you guys don't have text replacement, I think Androids do, but definitely Apple. It is like a lifesaver. So a lot of the messages that I use in boards, I have transferred over or I had them from before even. Okay, so this one is one who said yes. You can see she said, I can do that. And I said, great. How do you want me to set up the order? So we are going to send her this same follow-up, like nothing fancy, guys. I was just placing someone's order, remembered our combo. Do you want me to order yours or should I save your spot for Friday? Right, super simple, simple. Let me see. Let me pick a distributor now because
I need a towel. Look at the sunset.
Okay, there we go. Where were we? Okay, so this is a distributor, potential distributor that I've been messaging. Look, I even messaged her on Tuesday after talking to her on Sunday. So I was on it on Tuesday, but she did not get back to me. So we can go and use boards now. Okay, and we're going to go to our follow-ups, and I'm going to go to PDT. And sometimes we'll just scroll. Spots are filling up is sometimes a good one. But really, I sent her the info. And then I sent her a voice note. What's this one? Hey, just thinking you want to pop back in because I have a few codes left. Here, so this is actually a really good one. Left to join for 50% off. And thought of you. Maybe this is your sign. I'd be super excited to work with you and teach you all the things to make that extra income all from your phone. Maybe now is a better time. What do you think? Right? So super simple, guys. Take the messages that are in boards, find one that you like. This is probably the one that I will now go and send to all of the distributors that I'm following up with, just because it's way easier to do that. So that when you're following up the next time, you're not sending the same message to the person like twice in a row or even in the last couple of times. That way everyone gets the same message every time as you're doing your follow-up systems here. Let me see if we have one more distributor we could check in with. Let's see. Oh, actually, so I'm going to copy and paste that message now. Rosemary. See, so this one I have sent her a few follow-ups. So we're going to message her again. Hey, just thinking of you. Pop back in. So I have a few codes left. Maybe this is your sign. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the other thing that I have done is I also write down my distributors that I put into the opportunity chat so that I make sure that I'm going back and messaging them after they have been added in. So you can see she got added in on the 11th. She messaged me the next day. So I added her in. And then on the 12th, I checked in with her. Hey, did you have a chance to listen? There's only 2 codes left. And you can see too, we're going to send her a couple follow-ups. This lady has told me before that she's a grandma and has grandkids. So her grandkids are probably keeping her very, very busy. And who knows, maybe one of these messages speaks more to her than another. I probably won't message her again until Friday, maybe even next week, because that's quite a few follow-ups in a row. But that's okay. Like Crystal said, like 80% of sales and people signing up don't happen until the 5th to 12th follow-up. So if you can get in more follow-ups in the first week, in the first 2 weeks, then you're already hitting that close to 5 follow-up threshold. There are a ton of people that I followed up with who finally answered me this week. And I'm going to show you guys because it was kind of mind-blowing. The amount of messages that I'd sent some of these people that they had never answered. And then suddenly they decided to. But that's what I mean by like, we're not making the decisions for these people, right? Like, look at the messages that I sent this girl. So in March, I messaged her. And she was like, oh, I'm nervous. And then I messaged her in March. I messaged her in April, in May. And then on Tuesday, and then she was like, oh, I've actually been thinking about reaching out. So you never know. You do not want to make the decisions for people if they're interested, if they're not interested. Note too, that every single follow-up that I sent is different. That way you're not sending the same thing over and over and it sounds really, really scripty, right? I've got a message here to invite her to the income opportunity chat, all kinds of different things here. So you never know when someone is going to be ready, but we definitely want to be the person in their inbox when they are. That's kind of the key thing here. Does anyone have questions on kind of our process there, where we're finding messages, how we're going through? I guess I kind of forgot too, when I start having conversations with people, what I end up doing is actually taking a screenshot and putting them in my phone. I wonder if I have any hearted screenshots right now. I do. So what I do is I heart them. And then what I'll do is I'll go through my book and I see like this one says today. So a lot of times I'm not able to write people in my book right away because I don't always have it with me. But like, let's say it's tomorrow, this will say Wednesday. So I'll know to go to my book and write down on Wednesday, Michael, and write down cleanse, right? And then I have another one here, Julie, again, it will say Wednesday. And I know I need to write down the gummies and tablets. So I screenshot their name. It has a date because I always screenshot when I sent the first info. So I know the first time that I've ever sent them information. And I always make sure to have in the screenshot what we talked about, right? So like this one, for example, is not just going to have like this bottom part. Like, you know, sometimes if you have the messenger part open where it shows your keyboard, sometimes you only see the bottom half that says to become a product reviewer, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? That's the same in every single script. So you're not going to know what you talk to them about. That is also key, I find, because some people are not looking for weight loss. There are some follow-ups that do say, hey, I'm excited to help you for your weight loss goal. And if you were talking to someone about the hair serum, they are going to be very confused about what you are talking about. So definitely keeping yourself as organized as possible in that sense is going to help make these follow-ups easier and less daunting. I would say similar to Crystal, I'm not going to lie, I dread doing follow-ups. But again, it's one of those things that we just know that we have to do. It's like, I kind of dread sending out those 50 messages to ask people to hop for me. Like, it is very frustrating when only like 3 people answer, but guess what? That is what runs our business. That is how you are successful. And you just have to do it. It's like one of those things where successful people do consistently what ordinary people do like inconsistently. I don't think that's quite the quote, but it's close.
I think it's like occasionally or something.
Occasionally. Okay. I was like, I know it's
Maybe.
not the same word, but I think you're right. It might be occasionally. Successful people do consistently what ordinary people do. I don't even remember what word you used. Occasionally. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so even when you're not motivated, you still just have to do it. It's just doing the things. Like, I can tell you, even like as a mom, do you really think I wanted to give my kids a bath tonight? Hell no, I did not. But you just have to do it sometimes. That's just your job. It's what you do. And your business is no different. You have to treat your business like your baby. If you take care of it and you do all the things, even when you don't want to, it will thrive. It will grow, just like your kids do, right? So definitely treat your business like your baby. Okay, I think that's it that I have to show. I'll pass it over to you, Crystal, and you can show them some things, and then we will get to sending some follow-ups together, so that we are all on here. You guys can ask any questions that you have, go through your list, and we're going to send some follow-ups. We will get it done. So I will pass it over to Crystal quickly here. I think I have to make you the host.
I don't even have anything to show really.
You don't? Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if no one has questions right now, I will send in the chat the 2 follow-up messages that I was sending. And you guys feel free to steal them, I guess is what I can say. And that's what we can all send together right now. Okay, so here is the distributor one. Chat.
And I think we could like go back all the way to like even like the beginning of July, like as far as you want.
Oh yeah. Keep going. Like if you don't have very many people, like I would, yeah, like my follow-up books, I'm realizing now is kind of annoying that I've had to go to my next one because I had my first book for a whole year. Like I started the system last July, so I just hit the 1 year mark. And now I'm in my next book that's July to June. So I have both books sitting on my desk and I'm constantly having to go back to the other one that ends in June because really like that was only 2 months ago. So yeah, those people are still getting follow-ups and a lot of those people through. I would pick one day a month too. Like Crystal said, go back that 6 to 9 months. Pick one day a month. Say on the 21st, I am going to do all of the people that I talked to in April. On the 22nd, I'm going to message everyone I talked to in March, right? Have that plan, and then you can put it into place. You can prioritize. You know, that day you're messaging a lot of people because you're messaging everyone from your follow-up that month. Okay, let me go steal that customer follow-up and I'll share it with you guys here. And then we can just go through and send some follow-ups together. I think we'll end the recording there just so the training is showing part is not too long for when we upload it. But we will stay on here and get some work done together.
Cool.